What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because today's story is absolutely wild. I'm about to share one of the most complicated, messy, and honestly heartbreaking situations I've ever been through. If you think your living situation is complicated, wait until you hear this story. This involves secret relationships, multiple betrayals, and the messiest house drama you could ever imagine. So grab some snacks, get comfortable, because this is going to be intense. Picture this. I'm living in this house with 7 other people. 4 girls and 3 boys, including myself. 8 people total in one house. Already sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Well, it basically turned into a reality show without the cameras. Living with that many people is already chaotic. Different personalities, schedules, habits. Some people are introverts wanting quiet, others are party animals. Add romantic relationships into this volatile mix. The drama potential goes through the roof. At first, everything seemed pretty cool. We'd hang out together, watch movies, cook dinner as a group, have house parties. It felt like a solid living situation. Little did I know that underneath this seemingly harmonious surface, there were secrets and betrayals brewing that would eventually explode. Let me start from the beginning. There was this guy in the house, let's call him Sam, and we started developing this casual thing together. When I say casual, I mean we weren't putting labels on it, weren't exclusive, weren't talking about being boyfriend and girlfriend or anything serious. It started innocently. We'd find ourselves in the kitchen making breakfast and naturally start talking. Our conversations were easy, flowing, comfortable. We had similar interests, humor, outlook on life. We'd talk for hours sometimes, completely losing track of time. Then we started watching movies together. At first with other housemates, but gradually just the 2 of us. We'd pick a movie, make popcorn, curl up on the couch. There was definitely chemistry, that electricity when you're sitting next to someone you're attracted to. The physical stuff started slowly. Casual touches, sitting closer, falling asleep during movies. Eventually we started hooking up. But we never defined what we were doing. Never had the conversation about exclusivity or expectations. It was all very go with the flow. I started developing real feelings for Sam. More than just physical attraction. I'd look forward to seeing him every day, get butterflies when I heard his voice, find excuses to be around him. Looking back, I was probably more invested than I admitted to myself at the time. The living situation made everything more intense. When you live with someone, you see them all the time. Morning hair, late night vulnerability, everyday moments. It creates this false sense of intimacy, like you know someone better than you actually do. But here's where things get really messy. Turns out, while Sam and I were doing our casual thing, he was also secretly seeing another girl in the house. Let's call her Jane. And I had absolutely no idea. 0 clue. When I say secretly, I mean they were really keeping it on the down low. Full-on sneaking around, hiding interactions, pretending to just be friends when others were around. They were running a covert operation in our own house. I started noticing little things. Sam would always find excuses to be around Jane. If she was cooking, suddenly he needed something from the fridge. If she was watching TV, he'd decide to hang out on the couch. If she was doing laundry, he'd remember he had clothes to wash. They had inside jokes I didn't understand. They'd reference conversations I wasn't part of, and when I'd ask, they'd brush it off. Oh, it's just something silly, or you had to be there. Now I realize these were references to their secret time together. There were times Sam would just disappear for hours. I'd be looking for him, wanting to hang out, and he'd be nowhere to be found. His bedroom door would be closed, no answer when I knocked. Later he'd reappear and be vague about where he'd been. Taking a nap or running errands or on a phone call. But I trusted him. I had no reason to suspect anything. We weren't officially exclusive, so technically he wasn't cheating. But the sneaking around, the lies, the deception, that's what really hurt. If he wanted to see other people, he could have been honest about it. I remember one specific incident that should have been a wake-up call. I came home early from work, expecting the house to be mostly empty. Walking upstairs, I heard voices from Jane's room. Low, intimate voices. I paused outside her door, curious who she had over. One voice sounded familiar. Then I heard laughing, Sam's laugh. My heart sank, but I told myself they were probably just friends hanging out. Maybe studying, or she needed help with something. People can be friends, right? But deep down, I knew. Some part of me knew exactly what was going on. That little voice was screaming something wasn't right, that I was being played. But I pushed it down because I didn't want to deal with the implications. Looking back, I feel so naive. All those times I thought we were building something special, he was building something else with someone else. In the same house. Can you imagine how that feels? Just when I thought this couldn't get more complicated, it did. Enter my friend. Let's call her MAA. MAA had been my buddy for years. We met in college, went through everything together, stayed close after graduation. I trusted this girl completely. MAA would come over regularly to hang out. She knew all my housemates, got along with everyone, felt comfortable in our space. She was like an honorary ninth member of our chaotic household. One day, MAA came over to hang out in my room. We were just chilling, catching up on life. Sam was there too, which wasn't unusual. The three of us had hung out before, and MIA knew about my casual situation with him. But something was different that day. I could sense a shift in energy. Suddenly, MAA and Sam were really connecting. And I don't mean as friends, I mean that electric, chemistry-filled connection that happens when two people are attracted to each other. At first, I tried to ignore it. Told myself I was being paranoid. But the signs were undeniable. More eye contact with each other than with me. Laughing too hard at each other's jokes. Having intimate moments where they'd look at each other and smile in a way that felt very personal. I found myself feeling like a third wheel in my own room, with my own friend and my own casual boyfriend. It was surreal and uncomfortable. I kept trying to redirect conversation to include all three of us, but it kept gravitating back to just them connecting. Over the following weeks, MEA started coming over more often. She'd text asking to hang out, but when she arrived, she'd spend more time talking to Sam than me. She'd ask questions about him when we were alone, his interests, job, background. I thought she was being a good friend, getting to know the guy I was involved with. But now I realize she was gathering information for her own purposes. Figuring out how to connect with him, what they had in common. She was doing reconnaissance work while pretending to be my supportive friend. The betrayal from MIA hurt differently than Sam's betrayal. With Sam, we'd never defined our relationship or made commitments. But with MIA, there was an unspoken friend code she was violating. You don't go after your friend's romantic interest. You just don't. Then came the moment that shattered my understanding of everything. Sam tells me he's moving out. He's found a new place. Needs his own space. Living with 8 people is too chaotic, too stressful. At first, this made sense. Living with 7 other people is genuinely challenging. Always noise, always someone around, always drama. I could understand wanting your own space. I was disappointed because it meant our casual situation would probably end or change significantly. It's different maintaining something with someone who lives elsewhere. But I was happy for him if this was what he needed. Then came the bombshell I didn't see coming. Sam wasn't moving out to live alone. He was moving in with someone. Specifically, with MEA. My friend MEA. They were getting a place together. Just the 2 of them. I cannot describe the emotional impact of that revelation. It was like getting hit by a truck. Like having the ground disappear from under your feet. Like discovering your entire reality was wrong. My casual boyfriend, who I now knew had been secretly seeing another girl in the house, was moving in with my best friend. The levels of betrayal were astronomical. It wasn't just losing Sam, it was losing him to someone supposed to be on my side. Moving in together is a big step. It requires planning, commitment. They'd been having serious conversations about their future while I was completely unaware. All those times Mia came over to a hangout with me, but spent time with Sam. All those questions about him I thought were friendly interest. They'd been falling for each other right in front of me, planning their future right under my nose. I felt like such an idiot. How could I have been so blind? How could 2 people I trusted have deceived me so thoroughly? After Sam and Mia moved out and the shock wore off, I finally got answers about what had really been going on. The truth came out through conversations with housemates and things Sam eventually told me directly. First, I learned about Sam's secret relationship with Jane. It wasn't just casual flirting, they'd had a full relationship for months. Secret dates, intimate conversations, planning time together when we were out. Jane had known about Sam and me the entire time and didn't care. She thought it was exciting being part of a secret relationship. This reframed everything. I wasn't just his casual partner, I was the public face while he had a whole other secret romantic life. I was being used as cover for his relationship with Jane. But here's what made it worse. Sam told Mia everything about Jane and me before they got together. She knew the full truth about how he'd been juggling relationships, lying to people he lived with, treating me badly. And she didn't care. She thought she was different. So Mia had betrayed our friendship with full knowledge of how badly he'd been treating me. She knew he was capable of deception and chose him over years of friendship anyway. This entire experience taught me so much about relationships, trust, communication, and recognizing red flags. The biggest lesson was about clear communication and defined boundaries in romantic situations. I learned to trust my instincts and read actions versus words. So where are things now? Sam and Mia's relationship didn't last. Within 6 months, they broke up. Apparently, Mia discovered Sam's deceptive patterns weren't going away. She realized she wasn't special enough to change him after all. If you're in a complicated living situation or dealing with relationship drama, remember, communication is everything. Trust your instincts. Don't ignore red flags. Choose friends who prioritize loyalty over temporary attractions. Anyway, that's my story. Have you ever been in a messy situation like this? Let me know in the comments. If you want more real-life stories, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.